Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tim's Tutorials. Today we're going to be going over workshops and the various types and what they do. And this also includes refining stations. Now, when you're first starting out and you're having to use all the workstations that are located at the central hub, or the spire here at the center part of your island, and basically when we get on our claim, we want to kind of get away from that. We want to have these particular stations right there on our local location, on one of our claims, some form or fashion. Now, if you notice here at the central hub, we have all these four basic workshops. And the one that is the most important, because it is the beginning piece to all other workstations, is the Tinker's Workshop, which is right here in front of me right now. This particular workshop will allow you to be able to create all the other workshops. The Tinker's Workshop will allow you to make the Stone Forge, the Alchemy Station, and this one here, which Outfitter's Table. Now, when you come to this particular station, you're also able to create others of this basic workshop, which is pretty awesome. If we open up the Tinker's Workshop, we can scroll down and you'll actually see in the listing crafting stations. You also see just below that refining stations. Here in the crafting stations, you'll be able to create the Stone Forge and the advanced version of the Stone Forge, which is the Tech Forge. The differences are very minor between the two of them. For most cases, you'll just use the Stone Forge. Tech Forge gives you a little bit of extra things that you can do. The Alchemy Station, which is good for using, good for creating potions. Also, you're able to imbue certain items. You're also able to do some upgrading, making some of the items that you can use to upgrade your tools, which we covered in an earlier tutorial. The Tinker's Workshop, which is the basics for everything, because as long as you have the Tinker's Workshop, you can create all of the rest of the workshops. And then, of course, the Outfitter's Table, which allows you to create, outfits that you can wear, rings, and other little bonus items. Now, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make your own Tinker's Workshop that you can take and put it on your claim, and we'll kind of show you the pathing for all of the other workstations and refineries. And for that, I went ahead and farmed up all the items that I need to create one of these Tinker's Workshops. And if I click the Tinker's Workshop here, you can see I need 30 iron, I need wild heartwood, and I also need a bundle of plain wood planks. Now, I'm going to start out with the wood planks, and then we're going to make the other items over at some of the other workstations. The wood planks, you have to have enough wood to create your actual bundles, and it takes raw wood to create planks. Here in the Tinker's Workshop, you have this section right here that's just above crafting stations called wood. And in there, that is where you can actually create your wood planks. And as you're going around chopping down trees, you'll end up picking up some of these, the actual raw wood, the plain wood logs, and we're going to take those and actually create planks. Now, this is also a building material, which is really useful, so I would advise go ahead and make some extra while you're at it, because you're probably going to want to actually do some building with it. I'm going to go ahead and just set up 20 and go ahead and create those quite rapidly here. Now, for every 10 plain wood logs, you actually create 100 of the planks. So you can actually make a lot of these fairly quickly. Now, next here, let's scroll back down to our Tinker's Workshop, and you can see I have, 2,000 of my wood planks, so I've got plenty of those now. We still need to get iron ingots, which you farm up, just regular iron ore, and to be able to create those, so we have to go to the stone forge next, and then we'll make our wild heartwood over in our alchemy station. So let's travel over here, scroll down to metal on the stone forge, and inside of iron ingots we're going to go ahead and make our 30. Now each one of the crafting stations will require different materials, and the higher of a level of crafting station or refinery is going to take a higher level of material types. And they have the refineries themselves. What they do is it allows you to create more with less. In other words, instead of having, as you saw before, it took the 10 of the raw plain wood to create 100. The refineries allow you to take 10, and instead of creating 100, it would actually allow you to create, say, 110 or 120 of those planks for the same amount as what the lesser would. Long term, it actually helps you so you don't have to go out and actually farm it quite as much, especially if you're making really big builds and using a lot of that type material type. Okay, so we have our iron ingots. Now let's go ahead and make our wild heartwood. We go down in the alchemy station, we're going to go down to infused heartwood. You can see wild heartwood's listed here, and it takes palm hearts and it takes heartwood, which are the specials that are dropped from the trees as you're chopping them down. Heartwood comes from almost any normal tree type, where these specials such as palm heart and petrified wood here, gnarled knot, etc., all the way through, are a special that drops off of certain tree types. Now, palm hearts, in a moment I'll show you where you need to go to get your palm hearts, but for right now let's go ahead and we're going to make 45 of these. Now, as I said, the palm hearts come from these really tall and thin palm trees, and you can find those in normal jungle biomes. And just run around, you'll find them. If you see the small fat palm trees, you're in the right area to get the ones for the palm hearts. Normally if you see the big fat versions of those palm trees, then you're going to find the really thin skinny types, and I'll show you one of those here after we make the actual Tinker's Workshop. Alright, we should have all the materials we need now to make the workshop, and let's go ahead and jump in here, go down to our crafting station. We'll go down to Tinker's Workshop. Excuse me. And as you can tell, we have all the materials now. So let's go ahead and craft that. And I'll open up my inventory here, and you'll actually see it'll pop it in here to where we can actually see it in our bag now. So it's now a usable item that we can click on and be able to place inside the world. Now, once we have this, we'll want to go ahead and get up all the materials we need for all the rest of it here. We have pile of work stone. I needed coal, but I don't have enough coal, so I'll end up having to go out and dig up dirt and dig up stone to be able to gather enough coal to be able to create the stone forge. and then of course make enough copper ingots, and then we'll have all the materials we need for the stone forge. And this process of going out and doing the harvesting is pretty much kind of a normal thing here in the very beginning to actually create all the items we need so that we can have that stuff on our local claim. But having the Tinker's Workshop will give us that ability to be able to create it there locally at the claim. Now, here quickly, I'm going to show you where to get the palm hearts. Hopefully, we can find one fairly quickly at least. Now, you can see we have the thicker, fatter palm trees here. So that lets me know I'm in the right biome to find the trees to actually collect these. Sometimes it's harder to find it than others, but for the most cases, you'll be able to find them fairly regularly. Excuse me. All right. Now it looks like one's up here on this hill here. As I said, once you find those little fat ones, you can normally find these. And this is one version of those really tall palm trees, and you'll need an axe. You'll need a tin axe at a minimum to be able to cut these down. And so let's go ahead and chop this down, and so you can actually see what you get out of it. We're getting plain wood logs here, and then boom, there goes the palm heart. That's the one version of that tree, and the one with the little curve. And then you can see up here there are two. We have the curved one, and then we have the straight one, and both of these actually give the palm hearts that we're after. So let's go ahead and chop this one down. And then from here, we'll go back to the claim. We'll place down our workshop. There's the palm heart. Now, this is something I didn't cover before, but when you first start your character, and if you open up your inventory, you have this crystal. Now, this crystal allows you the ability to do two things. One is a quick teleportation to get back to the central hub or the central spire, or it allows you to get to your claim that you have already placed down in the world. But you have to have a claim placed to be able to go to that destination. These can be made in that Tinker's Workshop that we just created, or there at the central hub. And if I right click this, you'll see it gives me a small little menu of all the places I can go. There's the portal spire, and of course all of my claims that I have placed down. So let's click our primary claim, confirm, and it will take us directly to that location. And at this point, it's really not a quick way to get there, but it works. Another really good way to get back to your location is visit your neighbors. And once you visit your neighbors, actually find out what the name of their claim is, and use the gallery as another way of getting back to your claim. You can teleport to theirs fairly quickly. I do believe that these crystals have like a 30-minute cooldown, where the gallery only has maybe a 2-minute cooldown. Now we're loading back in now, and it's actually should take us straight to our claim. Now that we're back at the claim, we've already created the Tinker's Workshop. Let's open up our inventory, and let's drop down and so we can see the claim borders. And I'm going to pick a corner, and I'm just going to place my workshop over there so it's out of the way if I need to. Now when I first put it down, you can see it kind of gives us the option to, spin it around, put it where we want to. if I hold down Control and click and go into adjustment mode, I can click on the resize and be able to shrink it down or expand it in whatever size I need. Once you get a lot of different workshops, you may want to shrink them all down. That way they don't take up a lot of space. But for this case, I'm just going to put it over in the corner and hit my checkbox. And if I click on it, you can see I have all the same things that I had back at the central hub. Now, as I stated before, the workshop is the beginning points of all workstations, and so you can create all other workstations just from the Tinker's Workshop. Now, I've already created a document here, or a picture, to kind of demonstrate the actual building flow of all of the other workstations. At the top, we start off at the Tinker's Workshop. Just below that, you can see the Stone Forge, Outfitter's Table, Alchemy Station, and just under Stone Forge we have Tech Forge. And that's because they do basically the same job. And then just under that, then we have our smelters, our looms, infusers, the saw table, and the sifters. And those are refining stations. So everything with lowercase lettering here, or smaller lettering, are all refineries. In other words, you can get more out of it than what you could with a standard workstation. The only downside to the refineries is a lot of times they don't have certain advanced, you can't replace a outfitter's table with a loom, or you can't replace a forge with a smelter. So they have a slightly different ability set. You do get more when you actually create items with those refineries. So it's good to have at least whatever version of a refinery and still keep your primary workstation. And as you can tell here from the Tinker's Workshop, you're able to create all your forges, your outfitter's table, your alchemy station, and also following this line here, you can see all these refineries here at the bottom that you can create. So that's pretty much workstations in a nutshell. Hopefully I covered everything, but definitely stay tuned for the next episode. We'll be going over props. And with that, see you in the next show.